how to become your company's top sales rep. Volume and consistency. That's it. That's the end of the episode. But I'm going to elaborate a little bit more. At every company I ever worked at, I was always the #1 sales rep, and it wasn't even close. There was a giant gap between me and the second person, who was also lumped in with the rest of the salespeople. And the reason was because of volume and consistency. So I simply made more calls than everybody else, or my talk time was higher. It works two ways. So when you start off and you're new to a company, you need to have high call volume. If you have been there a while, you're gonna have less call volume because your talk time is gonna be higher, meaning that you're not prospecting as much anymore. You are talking longer with real clients that are actually gonna pay you. If you look at episode #1, it hinges on, do you really want this? If you don't, this doesn't apply for you. If you really want to be the top sales rep at your company, then volume and consistency. So if you are not beating everybody in phone calls, then your talk time should be through the roof. If your talk time is not the best, meaning you're not getting on to real clients that are really interested in what you have to sell, then your call volume should be through the roof. And if you're not doing phone sales, then those two principles are still what's most important, which is volume and consistency. If you think about any industry, those two are the most important. If you're a lawyer, you want to have the most volume and consistency. So that means that you're talking to the most clients and you're being consistent over the work days or the weeks or the months or the years. You're a salesperson, like a proper salesperson in the floor. You go in there one day and you knock it out of the park, you have the highest call volume, you have the most calls made, and then the next day you're tired, you're sluggish. You're not gonna be the top sales rep this way. So I would encourage you, do something that's realistic. Don't try to, blow anybody away. Just do something that's maintainable for you over a long period of time. So be like, for my old sales positions, they would put on a screen on a TV, call volume and number of calls made. Because those are the two metrics that they cared about the most, because they equated to the most number of sales. And always, 100% of the time, either the top sales rep who sold the most was either had the most calls made or the highest talk time, every single time, at almost every company I've ever worked at. So it's not a matter of, some special formula or somebody's just a better salesperson than the other person. It all comes back to, in episode 1, I talked about want to. Do you want to be the top sales rep at your company? If you do, you will be, because you'll show up early, you'll stay late, you'll make so many calls, and when you're at work, you'll actually work. Now, if we need to go beyond this, which I don't mind doing, I like to talk about social IQ. I'll tell you, at some companies, every week, the top sales rep would have to talk about why he thinks he's the top sales rep, which is kind of weird. But they wanted the other sales rep to learn, and I also think it was some subtle, small form of public humiliation. Because if you're not up there talking, then it's like, well, why is this guy's kicking your ass every week? So I would always talk about it, social IQ. Didn't mean that I had a higher social IQ than my coworkers. It just meant that I was, again, trying harder. For me, social IQ, I'll put the definition here, but it's being able to read situations and people and being able to adapt to them in real time. So for example, if you're talking to a lawyer versus a lady that sells flowers, an older lady that sells flowers, you're going to sell them differently, right? Let's just assume that you're selling business owners. So you can sell any kind of business owner, a lawyer, dentist, doctor, flower shop. If your social IQ is high, you're going to approach these two people differently every single time. You're not going to sell a lawyer the same way you're going to sell an old lady that sells flowers. The best way to approach a lawyer is, hey, I know you're busy. I'm a sales guy, as you know. So there, you're respecting their intelligence. Potential customers and clients always want you to know that they know that you're a sales guy. So if you could get that out of the way, listen, hey, I know you know I'm a sales guy. I'm a sales guy. But if you can just get these words out, they will listen to you. Listen, I'm a sales guy, but I have value I can provide you. Here's what we do, and let me tell you what it costs. And if you're interested, great. And if not, that's okay too. A lawyer is going to respect that. He's going to go, okay, what can you do for me? Why should I listen to you? And give it to me straight right now. I got to get off the phone. Okay, this is what I can do for you. Here's what it costs. What do you think? Bang. You're going to be way more likely to sell that guy than if you're going, okay, hello, I am Andy with X company, and I'm calling you today. Dude, shut the fuck up. Like, he's going to hang up, seriously. You got to be able to adapt. And a lady that sells flowers, she might be more personable. She might want to go slower. You got to slow your cadence down. You got to be a little more respectful when you talk to her. You might have to listen to 1 or 2 boring stories. And you got to be careful, because you're also, while you're listening to those stories, you're wasting your employer's dollar, right? So you're costing them money. So you got to keep them on track a little bit while maintaining respect for the older lady. So you listen to her talk and let her tell her story about her grandson, and then say, well, that would be great. And then segue it into why she needs your product. And how you're always there for her. When she calls, you'll pick up the phone, you'll email back right away. Whatever it is that your go-to, then give that to her. But you're going to have to adapt to each person. And if you can do that, the person that can adapt to every kind of personality is going to be the top salesperson. So if you can be the highest volume, either talk time or a number of calls made, and you can be consistent week in and week out, every day, you show up and bang, bang, bang. Like Tom Brady, maybe his routine would bore people to tears, but he's a Super Bowl champion because he's just in a routine. I think he's vegan. I think he's pretty regimented about his schedule. He goes to bed early, wakes up early, and he's just like a machine. That's not fun, that's not sexy, that's not late nights out doing drugs, but what it is it made him a champion. So if you want to be the top sales rep at your company, I'm not saying you got to go to a boring lifestyle, but it doesn't hurt to, if you want to make more money, sometimes you got to sacrifice in the short term for your future self. The consistency is matter, and what's going to help you be consistent is a regular schedule where you're going to bed at a good time, waking up early, showing up early, staying late. I would suggest, eating greens, drinking lots of water, and also exercising. It sounds so boring, but you're sacrificing right now. You're sacrificing right now for your future self. Your future self is going to thank me as well as yourself and say, wow, I'm so glad that I started eating greens. I'm so glad I started drinking water. I'm so glad I started hitting the gym because now I've got fucking money to go skiing in Bay on the wintertime. Whereas before I used to be a broke bitch and sit on my mom's couch, smoke weed, and I was always high and no girls want to fuck with me. You know? That's true though, huh? Sometimes you gotta just say it straight. Like there's no way to sugarcoat it. Like it's boring now, bitch, but it's like it's exciting later. You know? It's like, you never want to go to boring. You gotta sometimes be willing to go to boring. You know what I mean? Like if you want a better thing. So all right, we talked about volume and consistency. We talked about social IQ, and lastly, it's putting on a good mood. So you're not always gonna be in a good mood. You're not probably most of the time not gonna feel great. You're gonna be uncomfortable. Whether it's you're hungry, you're tired, you sit down a lot, you stand a lot. You're gonna be uncomfortable. You gotta get over it. You have to put on a good mood. You gotta show up. Hey, how's it going, Roger? How's it going, Ted? You know, these are like old ass names. I can't think. Hey, how's it going, coworkers? How's it going, boss? You know, how's everybody doing? Okay, great. You know, they know you as a guy that's personable. You might be more of an introvert. Maybe you're just the kind of person that wants to go in there, do your work, and get out. That's fine, but you sometimes gotta get out of that. Sometimes you just gotta, at least while you're working, because nobody's gonna want to make you the next boss if nobody likes you. Sales is all about being likable and being relatable. So try to get out of your comfort zone. Try to get out of your shell. I myself, more of an introvert than an extrovert. I'm really good socially one-on-one in private situations, but if it's a really big group of people, I just sort of disappear. I don't really like that scene. You can find ways to be social and make it more intimate in a big setting. If you got a big place with a lot of salespeople, you can still find ways to kind of keep to yourself, but be social in intimate, small ways throughout the day. To force yourself to be in a good mood. That's a weird thing to talk about. Nobody really ever says that, because usually what we focus on is the more fundamental things, the things that make you happy. Exercising, eating lean, getting good rest. Those are pretty much the pillars of being in a good mood. Getting good rest is so important. Going to bed at an early time. They say the best sleep is from I think 10 p.m. to about 6 or 7 a.m. Or maybe it's earlier. So, but proper sleeping hours. More importantly than that, that's all going to assist you in being in a good mood. But sometimes you just got to turn the juice on. Sometimes you just got to be in a good mood. You can't show up in a shitty mood because they're going to hear it on the phone. It's almost like our job to get people out of their funk. You got to think, you're calling a lot of people that are broke most of the time. I don't care if you're making, $500,000 a year as a salesperson. I've been in those rooms and I know that you're still a lot of the time calling broke people. So you got to think broke people aren't typically in a great mood, and most business owners aren't making great money. So you got to feel for them. Like, how would you feel? You can barely keep your lights on. You got to pay all these bills. You got to pay merchant processing you got to pay for your products, for your staff. Even if it's a small company, they got so many fucking bills, and you're calling them, and they're hoping you're a customer to help pay their bills, but you're not helping pay their bills. You're trying to take money out of their pocket. So you gotta have some empathy. You gotta try to soften the blow and be a little more friendly and just get right to it maybe sometimes, or sometimes just, and not let it affect you. And you're gonna see that you're in like the 1% of all salespeople, that you're able to take that first initial blow of sort of a rude behavior, because that's what they're gonna meet you with rude. But if they see that you can take that and you're still gonna keep a good mental attitude, they're gonna start feeling bad silently about the way they just treated you, and then they're gonna give you their ear. So you gotta have thick skin as a salesperson. Nobody said it was easy, but if you can do this, you can do anything. Mark my words. And usually the lower level sales, the harder it is, man, if you can do that stuff, you really can do anything. Again, back to the point, just, assist yourself in being in a good mood. Get good sleep, drink lots of water, exercise and eat a lot of greens, and try to stay out of tumultuous relationships, because that, I know it's, again, something people don't talk about, but it affects the workplace. It affects you at your workplace. If you're fighting all night with your girlfriend or boyfriend, you're gonna go in tired, and then you're gonna say, well, it doesn't affect me at work. It does. You're gonna be more crabby with people. You're gonna be more short with people. Typically, where you wouldn't have snapped, you're gonna snap. And people are gonna be like, whoa, what's wrong with you? And it's like, dude, you stay up all night fighting with your girlfriend, you didn't get any sleep. So try to also just get in healthier relationships, surround yourself with better people. And again, this is all boring stuff, but it's gonna make you rich. It sounds so boring and monotonous, but 2 years from now, you're gonna thank yourself for getting your stuff together and being boring back in 2019. I'm glad I got boring. I'm glad I got my life together and I got my shit together, because now I can do all that fun stuff. I can go to Vegas with my friends on the week. I can take a spontaneous trip to Europe now, when I want, whenever I want, because I was willing to be boring. So go be boring, and that doesn't mean, you have your personality, be saucy, but go hard when you're there, work, and you're not gonna be in a good mood most of the time, like just in general. Like even after, maybe right after you eat, you'll be in a good mood, but then you'll probably be sleepy. So, think about the times that you're gonna be really awake. You're gonna have to be able to be hungry and still be in a good mood. You're gonna have to have not had your caffeine and still be in a good mood. You're gonna have to have been up all night and still be in a good mood. You're gonna have sometimes disappointing checks. Oh, you got paid $400 this week after taxes. And you're still gonna have to show up and be like, I got this. I got big things on the horizons. So just put on a good mood. And so that's it for this episode. If you guys, I really, the goal for this is to help somebody out, because there's a lot of jokers out there, no doubt, and that's good. But there's somebody out there for sure I know that needs a job, and all they need is some words of encouragement and to be pointed in the right direction. So this is for that person out there that is a good worker, that's reliable, that's not volatile, that's not going to cause a bunch of drama in the workplace, that is not going to quit after one day, that listens to this and and maybe goes and tries because of this. So leave comments in the section below and you tell me what topics you want me to talk about, because I'll talk about anything. So I got a lot of years under my belt. So 15 years is really like, it feels like about 150 years of somebody else doing it for 15 years. So I don't care who it is, you can put them up against me, I'll outsell them. Or if they have knowledge on any topic, we can talk about it. Whatever you're struggling with, whatever you want discussed, and then talk about it in the section below, or reach out to me directly. And what I'll do is I'll make a video about it. Oh, and I think that's it. I don't fucking know.